All right. So you guys are with the one and only Rory. And if you guys have not yet gotten invested in his music, his comedy, his podcast, any of the things that he has done in the past, specifically his hilarious TEDx talk, you're in for a treat today. And I hope you can drop some one-liners on us because you had my kids after the conference singing the song about yoga for a
Right.
while on the way to school.
Yes, exactly.
So you have this podcast. I want to know more about this because I actually haven't tuned in yet. Balanced Artist. Talk to me about how that parallels to your story and why you decided to start podcasting.
That was I have two sides of me. One is like the side that you saw at the conference, which is kind of like the comedian side, but also there's like a side that's just I want to offer value to an audience. And for some, you know what I mean? It just I meet people specifically uh even people at the conference who are like, I love what you do, and I have a little bit of that inside me. I just don't know how to do it or have the confidence to do it, or whatever the case may be. And so I just decided to do this podcast just to share my journey or share the journeys of others, or bring on people that are better than I am to share their situation and hopefully offer value that way. So people who hear that I have a podcast, they're like, well, is it funny? Is it entertaining? Honestly, no. It's just very informative, and it's just great conversations similar to what we're having right now.
Well, I love so much. I felt that and actually got to witness the different parts to you. And I feel like I'm always like really high energy. And even on my most somber days, people can expect something out of me that brings light or laughter or something. And I had this like individual conversations with you. And I was like, wait, is he the comedian artist guy? Because he's so somber. And then you got up on stage and I was like, wow. And then we got to have dinner with you and I got to see a little bit of both. And so I just think it's really neat that you have those extra layers. And I'm curious, do you feel more vulnerable when you're on stage in the comedian realm or in the musician realm?
That's a good question. Vulnerable, probably. I mean, with comedy, you're expressing yourself through words. I realize that lyrics are words, but you're trying to have a conversation with the audience when you're doing stand-up comedy, and so anything can go wrong. Whereas if you're singing a song, things can go wrong, but not as many things as a stand-up comedy set. So I feel, I've been doing it for a long time now, and I still get butterflies every time I go on the comedy stage.
I love that. At when did you start realizing, or were you tapped into like being funny? Like, because my son is 8 and he's hilarious, but I don't know that I could ever convince him to get up on stage to do it.
I was doing music for like 15 years, and I was doing these theater shows, and I would love to talk in between the songs to the audience during these shows. And I was like, this is way more fun than singing the actual song. So why don't I just get rid of the songs altogether and just talk to them? And then stand-up comedy came in, and I haven't. I was going to say I haven't looked back since, but I still do music, and I kind of combine both of them into one thing.
You do. It's such a unique art. I think that there like a breakout experience where you realized that you could combine both of them.
It was, yeah. There's, I mean, I have that history of playing music, so it comes naturally to me, and I find that it's hilarious when you're talking about vulnerability, because I've been told several times that although I'm comfortable on stage when I'm just doing straight stand up, as soon as I bring the guitar into it, there's something that changes. Like this, you without knowing it, people could just see like this 20-year music background of like confidence that comes in, and then all of a sudden it just elevates a little bit. And I can't explain it. It's just, I guess, experience does its own thing.
Yeah, well, it was surely I didn't get to come out and sit in the front for most people who are sharing on stage that weekend. And you were one of those people. I'm like, I need a break. And this sounds like a great time to take it because I could hear the audience laughing and just just taking on that different form. It was really fun to watch and just sit there, not only rest, but to laugh because I think laughter has a whole element of well-being that I don't think people speak to a lot when they talk about like self-care or self-development or growth. I'd love to hear like what laughter has done in your life and how you and why you decided to go and do the TEDx talk about laughter or humor and coping mechanisms.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The TED Talk thing wasn't exactly a decision as much as it was a a calling from Mother Nature. So I've been doing these. I've been an entertainer for such a long time, and a lot of it was I was entertaining people, but was I really changing their lives? Was I really offering a value to their life? And other than the entertainment, not really. And so I struggle with that. Like, do I have a purpose? Is there a point in doing any of this? Right? I feel like I wanted purpose in my life, and so. In 2018, my family and neighborhood got destroyed with this tornado. It just kind of came out of nowhere and uh, unexpectedly. Like no one expects a tornado to come ripping up your driveway. I'm in the living room with the kids, and my neighbor's pool lands in the yard, which is a pretty good indication that I should put on some pants. And then panic sets in, and I grab my favorite kid, and we head down to the basement, and then the roof flies off, and the kid's swing set disappears. But they don't care because now they have a new pool.